I want to talk about a very important topic, especially for Christian employees: what to do when our boss keeps piling it on. We as Christians have a hard time saying no because we want to be a servant of all, like our Savior was. And yet that sometimes results in us taking on way more work than we're capable of doing. And that includes whether we're at a VP level, CEO level, individual contributor level. We all do it. So I'm making this short video to understand a couple of different ways to look at this and how we can get out from underneath it. Hi, my name is Shawn Sommerkamp, and this is Motivationeer Christian Coaching. I post 2 videos a week, so please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can be reminded when I do. Please also consider becoming a member at Motivationeer.com. Your membership really supports this channel. Thank you. You may have noticed a trend. I've been doing quite a few shorter YouTube videos on longer membership workshops that I've done, and this is no exception. I did a membership video that you can watch. It's a 90-minute or so video on my channel, What to Do When Your Boss Keeps Piling It On. I want to give you just a taste of it here. I can't get into the detail, of course, that I did on that membership video, but I want to demonstrate or elucidate 2 different perspectives we can approach if you've now found yourself in a situation where you have way too much work and your boss doesn't seem to be letting up. We can look at it from 2 perspectives, and I'll use this very simple drawing here to show that depending upon which side that you're looking from, the same object can seem different. So the 2 perspectives I'm going to cover are unreasonable demands, where your boss just keeps piling on work in an unreasonable way, and then reasonable demands, where your boss just keeps piling on work for reasonable reasons. Let's start with the unreasonable demands first. I'm only going to list them and just talk about them super brief so that if you are interested, you can go to my channel, my membership website, and watch the whole video yourself after becoming a member. One unreasonable demand that continues to keep that boss from continues to keep them piling more and more on is we just don't push back. Christians are notorious for this. We want to serve in a great way, as I mentioned earlier, so we keep saying yes and yes and yes. In fact, sometimes we think it's wrong to say no. Of course, there's a little bit of fear involved for everybody, whether you're a Christian or not. Oh, I guess I'm expected to do this. We usually get into that mode where the demands are unreasonable and we don't push back because, if you're anything like me, you think they know about your limitations better than you do. That was my situation for many years. It happened to me at Manpower. I was a national account manager. I was managing something like 18 national accounts all at one time, totaling more than $200 million. And I was burnt out. So I finally went to the VP of international business, Richard Gallagher, my boss, and said, Richard, I can't keep doing this. And he said, I wondered when you were going to come to me and wave the surrender flag. I wasn't sure how much more you're going to be able to keep taking on. But since you wanted to keep taking it on, I kept giving it to you. Boy, what a lesson. In that situation, I ended up taking on one very large account, IBM, the largest one, and ended up growing it to be almost as big as all 18 others I was managing. If I would not have pushed back, he would have kept giving me the work because I showed him those signs. Well, there are 4 other unreasonable demand situations that happen that we really can't do much about. The company culture is just abusive. All the leaders are trained to just keep piling things on their employees. Lots of information about this exists on how Steve Jobs used to do that. If you've not read that autobiography or that biography of Steve Jobs, please do. It's a great book called Jobs. You'll see the guy drove people hard. It's come out recently that Elon Musk does the same thing with his employees, mercilessly, supposedly. I don't personally know. I'm not spreading any slander or gossip. I just have been hearing this from other news sources. One of them is Cold Fusion. Won't get into that right now. Another unreasonable demand might be your boss is underperforming and he or she is, in a sense, taking it out on you. meaning the boss isn't doing a good enough job. They're in danger of maybe losing their job. So they keep making you do more and more and more to make up for their shortcomings. A fourth one, an economic downturn. We really can't do anything about that. And some businesses get close to shutting their doors, and it requires everybody, sometimes for an extended period of time, to keep working harder and harder and harder just to keep the business afloat. Number 5 is executive decisions. Sometimes at the very highest level, decisions are being made that you can't do anything about. A company is going to be sold, a ring fence happens, a division is spun off, lots of different things where the workload just becomes really prolonged and unbearable. Nothing you can do about it. It's really, in the grand scheme of things, unreasonable, but you just keep getting that work piled on. Outside of that first of those 5, pushing back, the other 4 you can't control, you're going to want to make a decision. Do I just stay here and keep trying to, push back? Or do I find another place? I always recommend that in the presence of those 4 other things, it's probably best to leave. Okay, there is the second perspective that I want to discuss, and I'm going to discuss it again briefly, are reasonable demands. Reasonable demands for your boss to keep piling it on is because, I hate to say it, you just don't have the skills required for the job. Somehow you got into that position for all the right reasons, because of exposure, let's say, and you found out I just can't really handle this. So your boss just keeps giving you more and more work to try to get you to turn around. This might be only a temporary slump. It might be you stepped into a new role and you're ramping up, and you have to also maintain responsibility of your last role. It's very hard to do both. We're not designed to do that. So it might be reasonable that you're in that high demand mode because you still wear both hats. Maybe you have slipped into the non-productive work mode where you believe you're producing revenue in a sense. You believe you're doing value-added work, but really you're not. You've slipped into this, what I would call non-billable utilization, where it seems like you're getting a lot done, but it's just busy work and it's not really doing much for the organization or for your performance metrics. And then, as I mentioned, overall, lastly, is you are underskilled. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do about the underskilled thing. So what I recommend in that specific situation, well, if it's a temporary slump, get over it, figure out what it is, and move past it. Be gracious on yourself. New role ramp up, wear both hats, do the best you can, communicate a lot to your boss. Non-productive work, analyze whether or not what you're doing really does add value and is it connected to your performance metrics. If it's not a KPI connected type of work, deprioritize it. And then this last one, if you are underskilled, it does mean you may want to step back into a lesser role, level up your abilities, and then step into a higher role. I've got this really fantastic client of mine. He's definitely executive level material, but he took a VP role probably a little bit too soon. He lasted for about a year, couldn't really handle the workload. He wasn't really there from experience-wise, perspective-wise, and he got demoted. He took that very hard, but when we started working together, he realized, oh yeah, that happens to lots of people. And he did level up his skills, and now he's back up at that VP role. So there are 2 ways to look at why your boss keeps piling things on. Unreasonable demands and reasonable demands. Whatever they are, figure it out. There's an answer for it, which I've kind of shared here. And if you want to go much deeper into this topic, please go become a member and watch it on my channel. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for 2 new videos each week. Tell me in the comments below about your career situation, and I'll make a video for you with a shout out. You can also become a member at Motivationeer.com. Your career is not just a way to make a living, it's a way to transform the world.